The title of the sixth plenary session is Nation Branding in Global Context, Trend, Issues, and Practices. We are going to have one keynote speech, 3 paper presentation, and also discussion by 4 discussants. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the session chair, Ambassador Im Sung-jun, the President of Korea Foundation. Please welcome with a warm round of applause, Ambassador Im Sung-jun.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished scholars. Well, I think we are cruising well toward the end of the forum, but the forum is not certainly over. And after very good luncheon, I think this must be a sleepy time, but not sleeping time. Welcome to the plenary session 6 of the Jeju Peace Forum. The theme of this forum is Nation Branding in Global Context, and the following 2 concurrent sessions, 3 and 4, will provide an opportunity to examine Korea's nation branding strategies in 2 crucial realms of nation branding: international cooperation and IT and economy. Well, recently, Harvard professor Joseph Nye introduced very interesting and innovative concept of soft power of a country as opposed to a traditional hard power. As for hard power of Korea, in terms of the size of economy, its economic capability, and military spending, Korea stands at 14th largest GNI and 11th largest military spender, respectively. But how is Korea's soft power? We can look at 2 important variables which constitute soft power, so-called international competitiveness and national branding indices. According to the recent annual report, Korea's national competitiveness and national branding indices stand far below 30th, to our regret. We will focus on this wide gap or mismatch between the soft power and hard power of my country, Korea. The concept of nation branding is relatively a new concept, and it borrows, of course, its basic ideas from the field of business and marketing. Simply put, a nation brand is a confluence or collection of the many distinct images, values, and reputations attached to a country in the minds of people, very much like the way it is for goods and products. These reputations used to apply mainly in economic arenas such as export products and tourism, but recent discussions in the field have incorporated the nation branding concept into that of the broader foreign policy strategies and other political and socio-economic phenomena in the world today. The government of Korea has recognized the importance of this nation brand and has begun work on improving it. Korea's nation brand is regarded as weak, given the country's position and economic political clout in the global stage. In order to raise or upgrade the nation brand value, there will be much work to do and many aspects to be considered. For one, it would be necessary for Korea to take an active role in the dialogue and efforts in projects of international cooperation and to contribute in resolution of global problems. And also it is necessary and no less important for us to find specific areas where Korea has competitive advantage so that Korea could eventually command a legitimate place for its nation brand value as befitting its global power and status. In this plenary session, we will hear from 4 eminent speakers about the overall trends and issues in the field of nation branding. First, I would like to introduce the keynote speaker of this session, Dr. Yoon-dae, the chairman of the Presidential Council on Nation Branding of Korea, which was established quite recently. Dr. is an economist by training and the former president of Korea University in Seoul. During Dr. Oh's term as president of the university, Korea University's brand has been very much upgraded. The Presidential Council on Nation Branding was established, as I said, in January this year, and its existence shows the importance and priority put on the idea by the Lee Myung-bak government. Dr. Oh will present Korea's overall nation branding strategy. We have the right keynote speaker today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Oh with a big hand. Dr. please.
Good afternoon. The most powerful enemy of this session is that we have beautiful weather outside, so that they cannot stand here. Let me begin by expressing my deep appreciation to International Peace Foundation and East Asia Foundation for hosting the 5th Jeju Forum. Peace Forum, and also to Ambassador Im Sung-jun and Korea Foundation, not only because he is chairing this session, but also he is funding this session. I really appreciate. And let me introduce by thanking Professor Nicholas Koh, Professor Keith Denny, and Ms. Simon Arnold, and Mr. Bernard Speech for taking time from their busy schedule to be here with us today. Can you believe that it has already been 8 months since November 2008 when I last addressed the first international conference on nation branding? How fortunate we are that Korea Foundation is so committed to our nation branding that it sponsored both first and the second gathering. The generosity of Foundation has allowed us this valuable opportunity to gather views of these most eminent experts whose expert input has shed further light on the concept of nation branding and enabled us to explore ways and methods to continue enhancing Korea's national brand. Today marks next step, highlighting the specific areas on which to focus strategy and policy. The Presidential Council on Nation Branding was officially launched last 22nd January 2009 with the mission to enhance Korea's international standing and prestige. Since then, nation branding has become a familiar term among the Korean people. In a recent survey, 9 out of 10 people thought nation branding was important. Based on extensive consultation with both policymakers and experts, our Council has adopted a 5-point work program. First, strengthening Korea's role in solving global issues. Second, fostering tolerance for multiculturalism. Third, raising the level of global citizenship. Fourth, showcasing business and technology. Fifth, promoting culture and tourism. Reflecting the Council's emphasis on implementation, the work program includes an action plan of 40 projects. Of these 40, 10 has been launched as a priority projects and are already making rapid progress. Once again, I would like to underscore the facts the work of councils goes far beyond communication and marketing. A key mandate of council is to coordinate and oversee government programs and projects which have a bearing on our nation's brand. Let me clarify that improving our nation's brand means that we also increase our global standing and prestige. And improving our global standing and prestige means greater positive exposure to international visitors, workers, and investors. The Council's commitment to policy and executive implementation is reflected in the composition of its membership. Currently, the Council reflects a broader spectrum of stakeholders and includes decision makers and experts from both the private and public sectors. Its 47 members include 10 ministers, the mayor of Seoul, 2 senior secretaries of President's office, CEOs of Korea's largest corporations, and many other eminent leaders and scholars who provide critical input to the work of the Council. In addition, the Council benefits from knowledgeable and candid advice of our International Advisory Forum, our Forum of Experts, online and offline student forums, and other international networks. This external group provides us with occasional wake-up call, which pinpoints how we are seen by others. We do wince a little from these pinpoints, but mostly we learn how to better our nation. And of course, we know that this external group provides us with the feedback precisely because they care about Korea and the Korean people. As you may agree, economic affluence is but one of numerous aspects affecting international standing and prestige of a nation. Such affluence must be matched in other aspects as well. Our contribution to the welfare of the global community and willingness to share, the appeal of our culture and heritage, and the appeal of modern life cycle. Furthermore, on a people-to-people level, we want to be courteous, civil, and considerate, and become the kind of people you would want to become friends with. We can draw on tradition and history and bear in mind that for hundreds of years, Korea and its people have been known for their refined courtesy and sophisticated decorum. A survey of 4,200 people in 25 countries, conducted jointly by Presidential Council on Nation Branding and Ministry of Knowledge Economy, and published last 13th July, showed that Korea is best known for its technology, followed by cuisine and food, and Korean television dramas. This suggests Korean industry and technology have contributed the lion's share to the nation brand. After all, Korea is the fifth largest economy in the world. Its information technology in particular is cutting edge. Therefore, we are well advised to add a further momentum to our efforts for promoting Korean technology. One of the Council's aforementioned 10 priority project is Advanced Technology and Design Korea. Toward this end, we'll place higher profile advertisement in the global media such as CNN and BBC, just ahead of Pittsburgh G20 summit next September 2009, to showcase Korean technology and product worthy of a global economy. Korea has overcome abject poverty, destruction from war, to make successful transformation from one of the poorest countries in the world to an industrialized and modern economy. However, such economic success would not have been possible without assistance of international community. Therefore, we are committed to sharing the fruits of our success with those nations that are in need. Our current ODA, Official Development Assistance, is a mere 0.09% of GNI. We plan to increase this by threefold by the year 2010. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of UN, is from Korea, as you know. In the morning session, he strongly urged us to share our fruits of success. We'll help him out in promoting world peace and world development. Even more important, we'll improve the quality of our ODA by tailoring it to the real needs of recipients. Supply side, no. Demand side. We will be interested to learn that we are building comprehensive program for sharing economic development know-how in close consultation with recipient countries by focusing on macroeconomic policy, industrial technology, human resource development, business, finance, and other areas for which there is demand. Actually, in this year, we'll have a strong support to Vietnamese government because there is strong demand. And this kind of demand-oriented knowledge sharing will be conducted in other neighboring countries like Indonesia or other countries when those governments want to have some help from us. Last May, we also integrated our international volunteer program, our equivalent of US Peace Corps, under single umbrella name World Friends Korea. Most Koreans would know that the current ambassador, American ambassador to Korea, Catherine Stevens, was former Peace Corps in Korea. That's why we love them. We love him. In terms of number of volunteers, our volunteer program ranks third world, following the USA and Japan. And we intend to double it by 2015. Even more important is raising the quality of program. By consolidating the separate programs once run by different agencies, we'll generate synergy and achieve efficiency. Furthermore, this consolidation under World Friends Korea marks a milestone for developing a stronger and more focused platform for its mission and values. Strengthening the platform includes overhauling the code of conduct and training curriculum to project a clearer message of what Korea's volunteer program and to a large extent our ODA stands for. History and culture also provide an important underpinning of a nation's brand. As previously mentioned, Korean cuisine and Korean television dramas follow technology in shaping Korea's image abroad. Therefore, production of sophisticated cultural content is important. However, it is equally important to have an understanding respect for other cultures. In order to foster mutual understanding and respect, two-way cultural exchange activities will be encouraged, especially in cooperation with private sector. Another of the Council's 10 priority project is to develop a nation brand index, a nation brand dual octagon model. This model will provide a valuable tool to make objective assessment of our brand and those of other nations too. Based on such assessment and analysis, we'll formulate our nation branding strategy and evaluate our work. This project is carried out by Samsung Economic Research Institute, SETI, one of the most respected institutes among private, which will present details of project today. I believe it is an accurate and sophisticated model and will be used worldwide. A month ago, the senior editor of Fortune magazine visited my office and we discussed about this model. If possible, he's going to use this one in advertising the Fortune magazine or make them sold better by using this index. Maybe we will have Fortune or SETI index for World Brand Index. Today's forum includes the most preeminent expert in this field. Also present are members and advisor of President Council on Nation Branding, adding familiar intellectual and executive weight. I feel privileged to be in such a distinguished company and look forward to the discussions today. I'm certain they will be very important for setting the agenda not only for Korea's nation branding strategy, but also for the subject of nation branding itself. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. For your very much informative and comprehensive presentation on what you are doing in your Presidential Council on Nation Branding. I think your presentation will make a good basis for the discussion we will have soon. Time really it goes very fast when we work on like this. And I should say that this session is extremely time constrained. We only have 80 minutes altogether assigned to this session. So we will be very strict on the limitation of time. Well, this means that we have to complete this session at 3:30 sharp, so I request each presenter to make the presentation not longer than 10 minutes. So 10 minutes rule will apply to the main presentations. And I will give only 5 minutes comments, to the commentators. Please understand, this situation of time constraint. Now let me present 3 distinguished main speakers for this session. As the first presenter, we have Mr. Simon Anholt, an independent policy advisor and the author of the famous Anholt Nation Brands Index, the most authoritative evaluation of nation brands. It is indeed a great pleasure to have Mr. Anholt with us here in Jeju today. He is widely considered as the one who coined the term nation brand and adopted the concept of branding from marketing and economics to the domain of public, political, cultural, diplomatic spheres. As a matter of fact, I think he gave a lot of stress to the government officials who are conducting public diplomacy and this sort of business. Mr. Anholt will discuss the latest global trends of nation branding in this session, and please be advised that he will make another presentation in the following concurrent session. Please come to the concurrent session. Then we have Dr. Lee Dong-hoon, the Director of Brand Strategy Group at Samsung Electronics. He holds a PhD degree in Business Administration. He is also the Chief Analyst at Samsung Economic Research Institute, as known SERI. He will present to us the nation brand dual octagon model, particularly devised for Korea. Last but not least, we have another distinguished speaker, Mr. Bernard Spitz from France. He is the founder and CEO of BS Conseil, a consulting company, and the chairman of the French Federation of Insurance Companies. He has served as an advisor to the French Prime Minister, Michel Rocard, and served as the head of strategy at Vivendi Universal. I met him for the first time when I traveled to France with Prime Minister Han Sung-soo on the occasion of the Korean Cultural Night, which was held in Paris recently. Mr. Spitz will give us a presentation on nation branding in a global context, Korea seen from a European country, a French view. First, podium is yours, Mr. Arnold. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes is a serious challenge for me. Normally when I talk about nation brand, it is a 3-day residential seminar. To compress that into 10 minutes is going to be quite a challenge, but I'll do my very best. And I'm sure somebody will stop me if I overrun. First of all, I'd like to correct a common misunderstanding. I'm frequently accused of being the person who invented the term nation branding around about 1998. This is actually not true. I did not. The term that I invented in 1998 was nation brand. This is a rather different concept. And I don't want to waste my 10 minutes discussing minute differences of terminology, but this points to a rather important philosophical difference. The article that I wrote in 1998, where I used the phrase nation brand, simply pointed out a concept which I think has become pretty obvious, and that is that countries and cities and regions, all places, in fact, in the global world in which we live today, depend on their reputations. If you have, as a country, a good, strong, positive image, then everything is easy. Whether you're doing cultural or diplomatic relations, people want to do business with you. If you're selling your products and they're made in your country, people are prepared and expect and want to pay a premium for them. When the citizens of your country go to get employment in other countries, they tend to get hired because of where they come from. If you have a good name, everything is easy. If, on the other hand, as a country, you have a weak or a negative image, everything is difficult. And your exporters spend a lot of their time trying to disguise the origin of their products because it means that you're operating constantly at a discount. That is the concept of nation brand. It's really quite an obvious point. It simply means that countries depend on their images just as companies depend on their brands, because we live in a global marketplace, whether we like it or not. Nation branding is quite a different idea. Branding suggests that it's possible to directly manipulate the image that a country has. That by the application of some kind of mysterious marketing technique, one can enhance or improve the image of a country. And I have to say that in the 12 or 13 years that I've been working in this field, and that I've been studying the cases of countries that have attempted to do this, and I've worked with a large number of governments trying to do this, I have not seen one single properly researched case study to prove, or even to suggest, that it is possible to change the image of a country deliberately. Look at the countries that have changed their images, and you will immediately see that this was no marketing trick. Look at South Africa, for example. South Africa used to be known purely as the nation of apartheid. In the United Kingdom, I was brought up to boycott South African fruit because we all thought it was a bad country. Today, it's widely admired. They're hosting the Football World Cup. It's known as the Rainbow Nation, a model of tolerance and progress. Was that a branding campaign? Of course it wasn't. It was the end of apartheid. It was the figure of Nelson Mandela. It was the most innovative constitution that a country had written for itself in many, many decades. In other words, what rebranded South Africa wasn't marketing, it was timing. That was a moment in South Africa's history where it managed to seize the opportunity and it earned itself a better reputation because of the things it did, not the things it said. Look at Ireland. When I was young, growing up in the United Kingdom, the joke about Ireland was, would the last person to leave Ireland please switch off the lights? Because the population was leaving in huge numbers. The economy was in a desperate state of near collapse. Today, if you go to a foreign direct investment promotion conference, you will see that the biggest crowd of people is always around the Irish people. They want to learn from the Irish and the economic miracle of Ireland, how these people managed to turn around their economy in just a couple of decades. Ireland is now regularly referred to as the Celtic Tiger. Until a couple of years ago, it was the fastest growing economy in Europe. Was that a branding campaign? Of course not. It was an economic miracle. It was a miracle of foreign direct investment, noticing and seizing and capitalizing on the opportunity. Or we go back in history. Look at one of the most successful pieces of nation rebranding there has ever been. Japan. Japan, after the Second World War, was virtually a pariah. I wasn't carrying out the Nation Brands Index in 1945. I wasn't alive in 1945. But if I had, I expect Japan would be more or less where Iran is today. And yet, in the Nation Brands Index today, in the 25 countries where I carry out this study, Japan is invariably rated by most countries, not all, but by most, within their top 5. For its exports, almost invariably number 1. Was that a branding miracle? Of course it wasn't. It was a quality, technology, export, and political miracle. It was the retreat into non-military behavior.